Which Southern actress visited MSU last week to share her story on becoming a woman? We'll fill you in on her recent work both on and off the screen and find out what event had Starkville residents enjoying classic music over the weekend. And also learn about ways that some MSU students are searching for jobs. All of this and more coming up on Take 30 News.
Your news, keeping our state informed. Broadcasting from the home of the Bulldogs. Now, from the University Television Studios of Mississippi State University. This is Take 30 News.
Which country is deciding to ban YouTube? And where is construction on MSU's campus causing transportation and parking issues for students? We'll fill you in on all the details here on Take 30 News. I'm Zach Miller.
And I'm Jasmine McFall. Looking to find out more about Malaysian Flight 370? We'll tell you all about the latest details involving Malaysia's acting transportation minister coming up. But first, the Mississippi Supreme Court has reversed a high-profile execution case. This is Take 30's breaking news. The Mississippi Supreme Court has now reversed a decision they made last Thursday on the conviction of Michelle Byram. Byram was convicted for hiring someone to murder her husband, Edward Byram Sr., in 2000. After she was sentenced to death, Byram's son, Edward Byram Jr., confessed to killing his father without his mother's help to a court psychologist. As of today, the case will now be reassigned to a different trial judge in Trans-Mingos County Circuit Court.
A 5.1 magnitude earthquake struck Los Angeles at 9:11 p.m. on Friday, March 28th. The quake was centered in Orange County near Bree, which is about 20 miles southeast of downtown LA. No injuries have been reported, but pictures of broken glass and toppled furniture from homes quickly flooded social media. Power outages, as well as a water main break and even a rock slide, were reported near the epicenter of the quake.
In what would be termed as a heart-wrenching moment for the families of the Malaysian airline Flight 370, Hishamandi Hussein, Malaysia's acting transportation minister, said on Saturday, quote, "Even hoping against hope, no matter how remote, of course we are praying that we are continuing our search for possible survivors," end quote. This has put families in a state of sorrow after Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak made an announcement last week stating that no survivors are expected.
Construction has been popping up everywhere in Starkville, and Mississippi State's campus is no exception. Getting food, hanging out with friends, and doing classwork, it's all part of college life. And lately, construction has been too. Like the new parking garage behind the post office and replacing the sidewalk near the Union, it has left some students feeling frustrated, but others just shrug it off. One person is journalism major and news editor Anna Wolf, who works at the Reflector.
Read faster.
Well, for me, it's more of just an annoyance, being that I work here, I have to walk here every day, and I know my friend came in with muddy shoes up to the top of his shoes from construction.
Wolf also feels that any inconvenience that students may feel will be outweighed by the benefits that the new projects will provide. The new sidewalk will also have parking meters with card readers for parkers' convenience.
Following the ban on Twitter early last week, Turkey continued its crackdown on the internet after it banned YouTube on Thursday. The decision was taken after days audio leaks against the incumbent government officials surfaced on YouTube. Soon, Turkey will switch to nationwide municipal elections, according to a CNN report. Turkey's government has accused social media platforms, including Twitter and Facebook, of spreading false information and lies against the government.
Don't go away. Our own Karen Fairley will tell us about the opening day for the 2014 Major League Baseball season. You're watching Take 30 News.
would you leave behind? If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Hotline.
In high school, you got away with it. But now, at Mississippi State, do the right thing. Obey the honor code.
The rainforest is home to nearly 2/3 of animal species, and almost half the medicines that we use come from rainforests. But by 2060, nearly all of our rainforests will be gone. So how do we stop it? One way is to recycle. At home, at work, at school. Recycle paper, cans, bottles, and more. Also, save energy by using cold water in the washing machine. Keep your car tuned up and carpool or use public transportation. And finally, spread the word to everyone you know about ways you can save our rainforests.
So Karen, how did MSU Athletics do this past weekend?
Well, baseball had a great weekend, but basketball, not so much. I have all this and more coming up. Welcome to Take 30 Sports. I'm Karen Fairley. Well, it's opening day and spring training is over, and it's finally opening day for the 2014 Major League Baseball season. 26 of the 30 teams will be in action, hoping to take advantage of the early part of the season. The defending world champion Boston Red Sox opened their season in Baltimore against the Orioles and are hoping to have a repeat of last season. The Sox, as well as many other teams, have made off-season additions in order to contend with the best teams in the MLB. Games are underway and teams are in action. This is sure to be a good season. The Mississippi State track and field team headed to Texas this past weekend to compete in the 87th Clyde Littlefield Texas Relays. The men's 4x400 meter relay finished second, a total team effort finishing fifth in the men's invitational mile run, with senior Juan Sanchez with a time of 4 minutes and 9 seconds. The team will head to Baton Rouge April 4th through 5th for the Baton Invitational. This year's Cinderella team is no longer dancing. The Dayton Flyers were eliminated from the tournament in their first Sweet 16 since 1984 this past Saturday, as the powerhouse Florida Gators proved their dominance. The Flyers were aiming to become the 4th 11th seed to advance to the Final Four. Though their campaign was cut short, the Flyers enjoyed success on the court, ending the season with an overall record of 26-11. The MSU baseball team has blazed as of late. The 5th-ranked Bulldogs have gone 7-3 in their past 10 games, including winning the series against the Arkansas Razorbacks this past weekend, 2-1. The team is currently in the 4th-way tie for first place in the SEC with a conference record of 6-3. The Bulldogs have relied on good pitching and timely hitting all season long. Brett Pirtle leads the team with 36 hits, and Jacob Lindgren has a 0.93 ERA. The team will look to keep their hot streak alive this upcoming weekend when they travel to Baton Rouge to face their number 3 LSU Tigers. Stunned, shocked, and devastated. All of these adjectives describe how the MSU women's team was feeling after last night's heartbreaking loss to South Florida. With 4.2 seconds remaining, the Bulldogs were up by 2 and seemed to have control of the game. But then the unthinkable happened. USF inbounded the ball, dribbled the length of the court, and launched a game-winning 3, leaving MSU's players and fans in awe. The loss put an end to a great postseason run by the Lady Bulldogs. They finished the season with a record of 22-14. Despite the loss, the team has no reason to hold their heads down. They exceeded expectations in all season long and proved everyone wrong. Head coach Vic Schaefer said him and his team would use this pain of this loss as motivation heading into next season. That's it for Monday's edition of Take 30 Sports. Coming up after the break, our own Jackson Meadows will fill you in on how to best prepare yourself to help prevent allergies associated with pollen. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Caleb Story, and I'm here with you today to tell you about keeping Mississippi State beautiful. Since 1878, Mississippi State has remained a beautiful and clean campus. Do what I do. Do your part to keep this campus classy and clean.
Procrastination is the destruction of most, if not all, college students. By the time we reach college, we are all experts at avoiding the inevitable. Avoiding homework to get more leisure time sounds like a good idea until the night before when we have to cram. You can avoid becoming a victim to procrastination by assessing the task at hand, scheduling times to work on it, and eliminating distractions.
Don't put off your homework. Do it now.
Good, she's finally out.
Welcome back. I'm Jackson Meadows with Health and Wellness. A new study by University of Iowa hospitals has found a possible link between women who drink diet sodas and women who develop heart disease. The study, which tracked the health of almost 60,000 middle-aged women over 9 years, found that women who consumed 2 or more diet drinks each day were 30% more likely to experience a cardiovascular event such as a heart attack compared to women who did not drink diet drinks. Although an association was found, doctors say that it is unlikely that diet drinks are the only cause of the problem. Heart disease is the #1 killer in the United States. A mumps outbreak first started in February on Ohio State's campus and has been spreading off campus. According to CNN, 63 cases were reported in Franklin County, Ohio as of Monday. Mumps is a fast-spreading disease that can be spread just as fast as the cold and flu viruses. It causes the ill person to be isolated for 5 days, and symptoms include fever, aches, and fatigue. Most people affected have been vaccinated, but without treatment. Mumps can lead to swelling and pain in the salivary glands, along with high fever and loss of appetite. The Gender Studies program at Mississippi State University participated in another year of performing the vagina monologues for the public to raise awareness about violence surrounding women. Students and Starkville community members came out to support MSU's performance of the vagina monologues earlier this month. Started in New York by Eva Ensler, these stories of the female experience are told on college campuses and in communities all around the world. Ensler created what is known as V-Day, a nonprofit movement to raise money in support of anti-violence organizations. MSU student of veterinary medicine, Peach Van Wyck, has been a part of the monologue since her freshman year at State in hopes of gaining support in the fight for women against sexual assault.
We've all known somebody who's been a victim of sexual assault, whether you actually are aware of it or not. So it's very important to realize that these things are still going on and that there is a change that needs to happen, and there is something that each one of us can do about it.
Scoot back over because your OTS coming up.
These monologues have become a creative way to tackle the serious issues of ongoing violence in today's world. All proceeds raised from the event go to the Safe Haven Domestic Violence Shelter in Columbus. For more information on how you can donate or volunteer at Safe Haven Shelter, visit www.womenshelters.org. Opticians are fearful that smartphone overexposure, which includes hours upon end of staring into the blue-violet light produced by the phone, may be causing eye damage in today's youth. A new study found that the blue-violet light that is emitted from smartphone devices can cause long-term damage to the eyes. This, coupled with the fact that such devices are also viewed very closely and without much blinking, can create a higher than usual amount of strain on the eyes of smartphone users. Doctors say eye strain can be avoided by taking regular breaks from the use of computers or handheld devices. Dr. Linda Malone shared a few tips on WebMD on how to keep yourself healthy in the pollen season. Jackson, Mississippi is regarded as the national capital for pollen allergies. Hence, Mississippians have to be extra careful. Know your pollen, says Dr. Malone. Try and know what pollens are triggers for your allergies. Consult your doctor. Know the right time of the day to run. If you exercise outdoors, evenings can be bad because of the breeze. Early mornings may be suitable. And if you know you are highly prone to allergies, take medicines early before the pollen kicks in. Follow these steps to remain healthy through this potentially deadly pollen season. A new study shows that the ban on public smoking places benefits in kids' health. According to the Lancet Journal for researchers, the smoke-free legislation has the potential to significantly reduce health problems due to secondhand smoke exposure, particularly in children. Research show the rates of preterm births and hospital visits for children with asthma have decreased since the smoke-free legislation was introduced in 2006. Only 16% of the world's population has smoke-free laws, and researchers hope these findings will help accelerate the introduction of anti-smoking legislations around the world. Coming up, you'll hear about Laverne Cox's visit to Mississippi State University, as well as Tom Cruise's reprising role as a lieutenant in Top Gun 2. Stay tuned.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that paper. Yeah, what's Teresa's class? Well, no, I'm not going to do it.
Who would you leave behind? If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Hotline.
Some people think they don't have to obey the rules. But when it comes to the rules here at Mississippi State, you better take notice. Don't think you're above the law, or they'll find you. You could find yourself on the outside looking in.
Ring responsibly, MSU.
Welcome back. I'm Kelsey Smith with your entertainment news. Known for her most recent work on the Netflix original series Orange is the New Black, Laverne Cox came to Mississippi State University last week to talk about her transformation as a woman as part of the Gender Studies lecture series this year.
As the last stop on her tour of 44 schools, actress and transgender advocate Laverne Cox posed with her Starkville fans on Thursday before discussing her journey to womanhood. Associate Professor of Communication and Gender Studies Emily Riles hoped students would be able to have a greater understanding of the deeper issues on how unique it is to be an African American transgender woman from Mobile, Alabama.
In terms of that intersection, I think that when you're talking about minority groups who are oppressed, anytime that you have someone who is African American and trans, they are absolutely more than likely going to see a lot more hate, a lot more potential for violence than somebody who perhaps is only a member of one of those marginalized groups.
Laverne is the first African-American transgender woman to act in a major TV series, but much of her off-screen work deals with demystifying herself and getting others to move past conventional gender roles and their representation on college campuses and in the media.
Here at Mississippi State, we have a really strong LGBT community, but a lot of times we don't really talk about the transgender issues. You know, it's always gays and lesbians. Oh, that's great, but I think it'll be interesting just to hear someone's perspective. You know, that kind of perspective, just something a little bit different.
Students from all departments on campus came out to listen to Laverne's story. There was standing room only left in the Union Ballroom as she discussed the struggles and successes of growing up and becoming the woman she is today.
It was pretty cool to hear her story and how she has dealt with it and has really kind of conquered her own identity.
Season 2 of her hit TV series, Orange is the New Black, is set to premiere on June 6th. For Take 30 News, I'm Kathleen Kirkland.
Tom Cruise is reprising his role as Lieutenant Pete Maverick Mitchell in the sequel to the 1986 movie Top Gun. According to Jerry Bruckheimer, the script had been reworked for the past 30 years. Both he and Tom Cruise had taken shots at the script, but it was the late Tony Scott, the original director, who had finally figured it out before he died back in 2012. The basic plot will pit Cruise against drone aircraft to prove who is better. Bruckheimer stated that the only obstacles left are finding time in Cruise's schedule and getting funding from Paramount Pictures. The MSU Libraries hosted their 8th annual Ragtime Jazz Festival, but unlike the previous years, this one had a unique twist behind its meaning. Our very own Quentin Smith has more with the story.
The Charles Templeton last weekend on MSU's campus. The festival is put together in honor of the musical collection of Charles H. Templeton and is comprised of concerts and seminars. The event is helpful because it introduces people to something new and different from what they are normally accustomed to.
The whole idea is to experience things that you've never experienced before. And that, I think, is a school's responsibility, to offer students an opportunity to check out things that they would not check out in their hometown.
The festival brought out fans from everywhere to participate and be a part of this great event.
Now, the thing that sets this Ragtime Jazz Festival apart from those in recent years is that this one is held in honor of Dr. Trevor Tishner. Tishner is the father of Ragtime Jazz Festival, and he died no less than a month ago. And the university and the Ragtime Jazz Festival committee did this strictly in honor of Tishner's presence.
During the festival, Trevor Tishner's book was set on a table in honor of his presence. Members of the festival said they wanted to stress the importance of Tishner's impact and
without him doing all that legwork and the dedication that he put in, we would be far poorer in our understanding of our country's musical birth.
Also at this year's festival was Tishner's daughter, Virginia Tishner, who played in honor of her father.
Always looking forward to the positive response we get from the music when we play from the audience. The audience is always very warm and welcoming, so it's a great feeling when you get out on stage and you play your best and everybody appreciates what you do.
For those who came out to the event, they had a great treat. Not only did they get to listen to great music, but they also learned about the rich tradition behind ragtime jazz music. For Take 30 News, I'm Quentin Smith.
Coming up, we'll tell you how a young boy has found a way for schools to save millions of dollars.
Procrastination is the destruction of most, if not all, college students. By the time we reach college, we are all experts at avoiding the inevitable. Avoiding homework to get more leisure time sounds like a good idea until the night before when we have to cram. You can avoid becoming a victim to procrastination by assessing the task at hand, scheduling times to work on it, and eliminating distractions.
Don't put off your homework. Do it now.
Some people think they don't have to obey the rules. But when it comes to the rules here at Mississippi State, you better take notice. Don't think you're above the law, or they'll find you. You could find yourself on the outside looking in.
Ring responsibly, MSU.
Sprinkles Cupcakes opened another cupcake ATM, or automatic tastiness machine, on Lexington Avenue in Manhattan last week, where you can now satisfy your sweet tooth during the day or late at night. Connected to the bakery, these gourmet sweet treats are made fresh and ready to be served 24 hours a day by a robotic arm. Once you've selected from one, or maybe two, of Sprinkles Cupcakes, cookies, or Doggies Cupcakes called Pup Cakes, you can choose as many as 4 cupcakes at a time at $4.25 each. Sprinkles opened its first ATM 2 years ago in Beverly Hills.
A study from the Pew Research Center has found that communication graduates, the job market may be tough, but there is hope. Colton Reed has the story.
So, you decide to go to college. You study hard, you study often, and any chance you get. But will staying on top of your work and graduating pay off for you? According to a 2009 study, only around half of communication majors are finding jobs in their fields, something that Jeremy McGinnis knows all too well. He spends his time working as a server and searching the web for his dream job. But is this true for everyone? Hunter Heath, who works in the camera checkout office at the University Television Center, finds that being in a job that is close to his field has been beneficial in other ways.
The camera, I'm actually learning more of the mechanical and technical aspect of, say, when cameras have issues, fixing tripods, learning about parts and whatnot.
But what if your job is outside of your field? Well, Jack Jones, who works at the administration office at Maphis, found that his job has something else useful, a network.
Skills might not have been picked up, but definitely connections have been made through this job.
And what about Jeremy, you might ask?
I've loved weather, again, all my life, so I don't regret it. But I do have backup plans in case this doesn't work out. I'm not too far from actually having an accounting degree, which is also for office jobs as well. So I do have a backup plan in case things don't work out.
Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Jasmine McFall.
And I'm Zach Miller.